Hey, seekers and light workers, namaste. Danielle Vidia here with the Holistic Harmony YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm shooting this video for the full moon for July, happening on Tuesday, the 16th, which also is a day that I teach flow and meditate in Amityville. So that's actually really cool because that means that I'll be able to guide that meditation for that class in the heart of the energy of this full moon and lunar eclipse. We have a Capricorn full moon happening this month and a partial Cancer lunar eclipse on Tuesday. And so a full lunar eclipse occurred in January, and another one is going to be happening in December. These eclipse energies last and linger for 6 months. So anything that's been happening from January until now, just take a look. Think about what was happening in the beginning of January for you. Kind of recall and reflect on where that situation, those people sit in your life now. And if things haven't already drastically changed from the beginning of the year, they may be calling for some drastic changes now. And we're still going to have this kind of lingering until the end of the year, as well as whatever it is that's being triggered and kind of called upon now. So, this is the most powerful gateway energy window of the entire year happening this month. And the result of this gateway is us heading towards a huge degree of spiritual connectedness. So if you've been exhausted this week, specifically, aside from all the craziness that's happening, here's why. Literally. The amount of energy and vibrational stuff that's happening right now in the universe and, all around us, planetary wise, moon wise, and otherwise, it's really draining physically, so emotionally. For your human experiences here on this earth, here's what to focus on. This energy is hitting the core of what we've been working on. So if things that you have been really trying to focus on, really trying to move away from, really trying to fine tune are being really triggered right now, it's just because of the shifts that are occurring. That's a monumental part of your life that needs some attention, that needs some changes, that needs to be healed. Um, our individual healing with things like obsession, obsessiveness about things, control, gaining approval outwardly. That's what's mostly being targeted right now. So you may notice that those are the things in your life that are like just speaking to you and really like sucking all of your energy. So as a collective, our healing about certain parts of our spiritual experiences is what's being targeted right now, and a groundedness of our human experiences. So we're trying to tie the two together, which is, I feel, what I always target in my class, trying to ground us physically while lifting us up spiritually so we're not too high or too low. Especially in my Reiki classes lately, they've been really gearing towards self-healing, as well as just keeping us grounded while also allowing our intuition and higher self to guide. Because for those of us like myself that are really black and white, all or nothing, no gray area in between, it can get really intense, some of these experiences. So I'm always calling for us to level out, basically, without disconnecting one or the other. Staying balanced, as always. So the new moon in the beginning of the month was a bit more light and playful, whereas this full moon we're approaching in a few days is bringing up the pain and the part of our insecurities and worries that no longer work for us, illuminating any place where we feel weaknesses. Fun. So if you're working through some of those themes over the last few months, this month shines a spotlight so you could see it in all its fullness, bringing forth some aha moments that are going to be really transformational. So, you can't really have dynamic growth in comfort, is what I find myself saying to people that are in need of hearing that, which may be you if you're watching. So looking at ourselves on a soul level, there might be a lot of deep things occurring here, deep themes that we're seeing coming up, surfacing and showing themselves in order to be healed. And with all of the planetary movements happening this month, there is a strong dance happening here where we're being challenged to see how vulnerable we can be and lean into that, and as well as how we shut down and try to manipulate and control. We want to be these self-sufficient survivors that don't want to be vulnerable or ask for help or think that we don't have it all put together or appear otherwise, especially with stuff like social media where every post that people tend to put out is either in anger of something or like super, I got this, everything's under control. And maybe just toning it down and softening it a notch and understanding that maybe I don't have it all under control and that's totally okay. And, the things that I don't have a balance in doesn't have to be controlled, but just not having a balance in is just something to like soften up to and lean into and figure out how to get there. And it doesn't happen by ignoring it or pretending, fake it till you make it, like not now. So our shadow side is being looked at through the lens of this very masculine and stern Capricorn energy. We are learning where there are limitations as to where we feel we have to have things under control at all times, striving to find peace and harmony with the release of the obsessive control will make things happen in ways that vibrate with your highest good, not the ways in which we think they should look. So just learning to like be aligned with your heart and not forcing yourself upon people or situations that are like not leaning back in towards you, finding those people and those situations that do kind of hug, these parts of you is where it's at. That's where we're looking to kind of stray towards, not towards the aspects that don't feel right. And we're trying to make it seem like it is. So examine, reflect. Where are we trying to look like we have it all together or all figured out? Really examine it. Where are we trying to control things and force them to happen? I know no one likes to really admit that, as well as like not having things all figured out, but it doesn't make you a mess that you have all these places in your life where things seem to not be fitting in. In my opinion, it actually means as though you are so self-aware that you have the intelligence and the inner wisdom even to recognize and therefore release and find the true pieces that fit to align with where you're at, not where you're trying to be or want to be. Maybe that's not the best place for you to be, and that's okay. And the only way that you're going to know is if you kind of release it out and stop trying to force it to happen and be. So just finding comfort in where you are and who you are and how hard you've worked and, the progress that you've made. And again, noting that there was an eclipse in the beginning of the year that has caused certain things to really shift and change, that were brought to light at that moment because they were going to change in drastic ways. Better, worse, indifferent, doesn't really matter. However you want to look at it. Things moving closer to you or further away from you can be positive, period. Again, it doesn't have to look like how we think it should. And so Mercury retrograde, also everybody kind of like about, it just asks us to listen. Like I just said, just being happy with being. Absorb through the high energy of the full moon. We're being asked to have this emotional conversation to see where we need to reset our association with our hidden emotional needs and how we connect to them in the external world around us. Healing our inner masculine. forcing us to look at the parts of ourselves that are skeptical, the part that gets nervous and critical of things, where we fear that things are not working the way that we hoped. So working to release the rhythm we are in that lies with fear, that aligns with fear. Allowing ourselves to connect with the energy of the moon that allows us to experience all of the insecurities that we may have outside of the situation showing up right now. They're just triggering it. These insecurities already exist. But they're stemming from some deep-rooted emotions that we've been carrying with us for a long time. Some of these are lifelong wounds that are revealing themselves now with these situations that have, again, culminated over the last 6 months or so. And just learning to experience the insecurities so we can move through them and allow them to flow and release out, rather than attaching to, ignoring, and storing. It's a lot of stuff. It's important to just recognize that this is an essential part of ourselves that's speaking to us, needing reassurance, but from inside, not outward. So this may allow us to feel more obsessive about things, more fragile or out of control, having people in situations that you want closer to feel even further away from where you want them to be. So for the next few days, just take a deep breath. Listen to the voice and the narrative. Play the witness and respect to the voice that reveals the insecurities rather than attaching to and feeding into it. Play the watch it. Observe. That's it. In lightness, like you would another person that you forgive or that doesn't trigger you. I don't know, on Instagram, that guy screaming, the short guy, about the dating sites. If you're able to just watch someone freak out like that and just wish them the best, not attaching to the anger and the pain, try to regard your own stuff in the same way. You know, just be the witness to it in lightness. You know, all the unworthiness, the insecurities, and the pain, the places where you want to shift your vibration, rather than leaning into the old patterns of thoughts, take the invitation to return the thoughts from fear to love. Relax enough to receive in by honoring the part of yourself that's stressed, not leaning into it, just relaxing into the growth of it and being the witness to allow those thoughts and feelings to pass and make room for higher vibrations and thoughts of lightness. Honor where your heart is really calling and asking for attention. So your energetic body that's making these fast moves can meet that physical body that's really having a hard time keeping up. That's where we are this week, pretty much. So we'll talk about how we can move through and navigate this on a physical plane. You know, this is a huge opportunity for big manifestation. Again, all of the things that you really are just praying to be changed, to be easy, to be light. This is the time where it's going to wind up happening. So just keep the thoughts of love and light really soft and not, again, so controlling. You know, it's summer, right? So try to stay in the theme of lightness. I mean, I feel as though we're waiting for things to constantly slow down, and now's not the time. It's just never happening. Your body's probably feeling sluggish. You may be experiencing brain fog, not sleeping well, or sleeping too much, but still not feeling rested, not being as clear or as grounded as you normally are all of the symptoms of this energy portal right now. So although physically you may feel guided to slow down, just know that it's not the time to slow down with your spiritual growth. Take the rest that you need physically because it's exhausting, but keep moving in regards to how you're trying to just navigate through stuff better. It'll get easier. Don't put the projects on hold that are helping you to raise your consciousness. Don't put the habits on hold that are helping you raise your consciousness. So if working out feels good emotionally and energetically, but you're just physically tired, push yourself a little bit right now. You know, take the rest when you need it. Always honor the body and stuff like that, but don't get lazy because emotionally and energetically you're like, holy cow, what's going on? You know, still move through those emotions. Go to yoga, go meditate. Now's not the time to stop doing those things. Whatever it is that you need to do to raise your vibrations, do it. You know, for me, I'm really physically drained from this week, teaching 11 classes, traveling back and forth to Calverton for 4 days, spending a full day out there, you know, 12, 13 hours, not coming home, and then turning around and going right back. You know, although I am pretty drained, I took the rest that I needed how I needed it. And today I'm still working on my Reiki manuals. Maybe not getting as much done as I would have hoped, but I'm shooting these videos and still spreading the message, the love and the light. And so rather than taking the day and, you know, it's beautiful outside, going to the beach or, you know, hanging out at some kind of restaurant on the water, I'm still here writing my stuff, working on the things that I need to, not stopping the things that are raising my vibrations by replacing them with things that are going to lower them, right? Going out and, you know, eating too much or indulging in substances, drinking, you know, having wine or beer or whatever, that's not going to help me physically. It might in the moment help me just check out and, you know, escape a little bit, but I know in my heart that staying home and doing the right thing, writing my manuals and continuing to be in that headspace of Reiki energy and healing and love and light and the idea of spreading it, you know, to everyone that's going to receive is keeping me in my soul alignment, keeping me in my energetic alignment, keeping me in my physical alignment. I rode my bike. I rode to yoga this morning. Thanks, Marguerite and Teresa, because we were the only people that showed up. Marguerite taught, Teresa and I obviously needed that class. So, you know, I got out in the fresh air first thing in the morning, got up nice and early. I rode my bike to yoga and, you know, I came home and I ate something. I took a nap even. And, you know, I worked on my manual and recorded a couple of videos like this one here for you guys and did things that spoke to my soul that even though I was pretty tired and I could have just checked out and said, forget it, I'll pick it up next week. I'm keeping with my alignment. I'm trying to lead by example. So hopefully this message transcends to whoever needs to hear that at this moment and, you know, find faith in it. Maybe if you're alone right now and you don't have plans and you feel like you should because it's summer, read your books, study, do your thing, do your Reiki if you're a Reiki practitioner, whatever it is. You know, don't dwell in insecurities and thoughts and habits that don't serve. You know, if you have the opportunity to go and hang out with friends, great, if that's what makes you feel good, but don't force it. Don't overindulge. You know, maybe just go for a little while rather than the whole day. You know, whatever it is, just do whatever speaks to your soul. Summer's not passing you by. There'll be plenty more nice days. You know, these are the kind of things that this energy with this moon are shining the light on. So it's important to pay attention. You know, this kind of stuff may come naturally because of the practices that you've put in place. But if you find yourself eating out of control, drinking out of control, using the summer as an excuse, like I said, change it to the reason to get back on your health kick instead. If you feel as though you would like to be feeling a bit cleaner, a bit lighter, a bit leaner, a bit healthier, clearer, do what it takes to get there. Don't feed into I'm tired, screw it, I'll just eat whatever. You know, don't do it. Try to rise above. Raise your vibrations now to set the tone so you can meet these high vibes that are around us with this full moon approaching, rather than less than where you could be. It will help you naturally break free of the old habits and addictions that allow that lower state of consciousness to be. Align your lifestyle to where you want to be now so that this full moon can support that, rather than the lowest points of where you may be. Accelerate your freedom. It will be amplified. You're in the process of transcending. And it could look like the opposite. If you've spent the last 6 months working out really hard, dieting really hard, and really being rigid and structured, and, now you're feeling like you need a rest and stuff like that, just listen to your body. Everybody's going to be at different places. So it's hard for me to give collective advice as to what to do specifically. Everybody's going to be different. So maybe what I said the first time around doesn't apply to you. You have to have your own awareness and inner wisdom to know what's right. Whatever it is that's going to make you feel love and light and not weigh down and heavy and dark. Stick with the lightness. So it just might be the opposite of what you think you need or what should be. And really, again, pay attention to what has occurred in the beginning of the year and where things are, and try to figure out what needs to be changed to allow things to expand. You're in the perfect energy for that right now. Notice if you have urges to declutter your space, your mind. Notice if you are craving to get things cleared and straightened out. Make room for this energy to flow. Your clutter in your spaces is a reflection of the clutter in your mind. This could even be decluttering your computer or things like that, your planners or, whatever, your projects. For me, I have my projects written out on boards that are clear and concise so that I can get the information that I need out of here there, so that I can kind of just release it and let it go and come back to it and build upon it, rather than having all of these ideas in my head. So in other words, if you have things that are going on in your life that are really heavy, really monumental, really stressful, that you just don't know where to begin or how to navigate through it, maybe write it down. I really encourage you to get your thoughts out, whether it's journaling or just literally labeling out, what it is that's going on and what needs to be tackled. And even if you don't know how or what it looks like, that might help be the foundation to get you started to figure it out. If I did not do that with my Reiki manuals, then I would not be able to even know how to piece all of this information together. And I feel compelled to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take a moment to just grab that structure for you, so that I don't normally do this, but I feel like I need to. So this is what I'm talking about in regards to really structuring out what my manuals reflect, how much information is in them, where the information comes from, and what it looks like, how to add to it, what to situate and put in the right order. I mean, this is the thoughts that are in my head, the photos that need to be taken, the books to recommend, just any extra information that I'm adding into all of this stuff here. This is the only way in which I would be able to figure all of that out. And if I had just these ideas all floating in my mind, there's no way that I would be able to do this fluidly and allow this energy to flow so that I'm able to make the best of it and truly write the best manuals that I can. That's just far too much information for me to be able to navigate through successfully in the time frame that I want to. So I don't normally do stuff like that on video, but I feel like if I just show you the time and effort and energy that I put into the projects that I do, it'll give you guys a better sense of what I'm talking about for you to do just simply in your life. I do the same thing in my life with my schedule. You can ask anyone that knows me or who has ever been to my home. I have my schedule literally written on that same size. The opposite side of that is a calendar. So, those are the ways in which I'm able to get these massive projects done. And I regard my life the same way, and there's no reason why you guys shouldn't as well. So if there's someone maybe at home that's sick, that, you know, you're trying to figure out all of these things on how to navigate through and where to start, you know, perhaps an accident occurred or something dramatic or drastic that has happened, you know, just really quickly out of the blue that you were not prepared for, anything like that, you know, that you're just having trouble navigating through and figuring out where to begin, feeling lost, feeling confused, feeling the pressure and the stress, write it down. It might seem really weird to do that, but write it down, figure it out. Whatever it takes, don't give up. Again, these are the things that we need to do to keep the vibes high. The stress that's lowering the vibrations of where we are is just going to only allow that much growth to occur. And these other lessons are going to keep on showing themselves, and triggers are going to keep on revealing themselves because we weren't able to hit the wounds deep enough so that they were healed, that we can get a break, right? You ever find yourself being like, can I just catch a break? You know, yeah, you can, but you have to make it happen. You have to put your hand out to catch the ball. You know, if you expect to catch a break without having the glove on and the hand out, then you're probably going to get hit with it. So, you know, really take control in the ways that make sense rather than trying to control the things that you cannot. You know, for me, decluttering also, like my bedroom, the last week that I haven't been home, clothes everywhere. It looks like somebody, you know, came in and tried to kidnap me. There's things everywhere. And the moment that I like stopped and today was able to like put everything away and make my bed, and it just felt so much better in there. I'm like, oh my God, you know, the energy's flowing so much more freely in this space. And I feel so much more grounded and comfortable because that clutter of just me rushing home and, you know, changing, you know, going to the salon, going to yoga, going to the gym, riding my bike or what have you, trying to go out to dinner, sweatpants, but, you know, like literally, you know, everything everywhere, because to take the time to clean is like not even happening. I've been waking up earlier than ever lately, and I'm not used to that. So I'm getting acclimated to even just that. But as soon as I cleaned up my space, I felt so much better. So this energy is really a time of connectedness and sharing. The more clear you feel, the more you will naturally want to help others. We as light workers are doing all of this work, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. So the lighter we make ourselves, the more energy we will have to extend out to everyone else. Remembering to fill your cup so people can take from the overflow and not the bottom of the resource. No one benefits that way. The eclipse is setting us up for the next energetic wave, asking us to do some deep work. So if you're in the process of healing major parts of your life, which if you're watching this video, you probably are, just take it one day at a time. This is an invitation to the event to move forward. And if we respond mentally, yes, then energetically we can start moving towards the party. Pay attention to where you are getting invitations to emotional growth and connectedness, allowing yourself to open up to the greatest love and the greatest part of your life. We are moving towards some deep fire energy. Leo season is right around the corner, allowing us to look forward to endless possibilities. You're the one in charge. You don't need to seek that fatherly or masculine approval from anyone else. That nurturing, that command, that groundedness, it comes from within. You're the emperor. You're the one in charge. To create your centeredness and allow people and situations to move towards you rather than you towards whatever you're trying to grasp at, you will attract what you are, not what you want. So be the force to vibrate at the level that you demand and call towards you the things and the people to meet you there. I hope you like this video. Give it a like if you do. Share it if there's somebody that you feel needs to hear this message. that maybe doesn't know who I am or follows me. I'm making these videos to really stay in touch with everybody as I'm on the road traveling and, building and growing in all different ways. We're building a bigger, even bigger community by expanding out, further out on the island. And, you know, it's impossible for me to be able to get to everybody one-on-one. So these videos are really meant to just keep us connected and spread the message. So if there's somebody that you want to share it with, share it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay in touch with messages like these and others. I'll be working on my YouTube channel and podcast again very soon. The Reiki stuff took precedence, and I think that it's super important. And so I'm not mad about it, even though, sometimes I don't make my deadlines either. I'm really human. And with these goals and these charts and stuff like that I make, I do try to really set guidelines and boundaries and deadlines for myself. But, life happens and I have to lean into the things that feel right. And so sometimes I don't make my boundaries, or rather make my deadlines and stuff either. So, like, that's totally okay. I'm not like a failure because of it. If anything, it's just going to expand even better than what I had imagined, because whatever I learn along the way can now get applied to that when I go back to it. So, stay in touch. Like I said, teaching like 11 classes a week. So Tuesday, Flow and Meditate will be specifically a meditation on information like you see in this video here. Spread the love and light. And until we meet again, namaste.